Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. This is Comics Today. This is a show that we do on Wednesday night to celebrate the best day of the week, that being New Comic Book Day. And I will tell you that I have a pretty large stack of comics that are sitting off to my side that we are going to spend a little bit of time talking about. There are a couple of things I want to give you guys a heads up on before we go to the chat. One of the things I want to do is to urge you guys to tune in to next week's Comics Today show. I am in the process of getting a buddy to come on the show, and I was hopeful that he would be available tonight, but it did not work out. So I think next week it is going to work out. This guy has been my friend for, I think, like 20 years or so. He is a CPA. And what I want to do is to actually bring him on the show to spend some time talking with me and with you about taxes and the hobby. He is not a comic book guy, but he is a CPA, and he should be able to give us some practical tips and advice on that line of demarcation between something being a hobby and something becoming a business, and how we might need to treat some of the things that we are spending money on if we are also selling comics. And if you guys remember, many months ago, I think I talked about this topic of taxes, and there were those IRS criteria that I showed on screen that to your average person seems like a lot of gobbledygook, and indeed it is. My hope is that my buddy will be able to provide us with some practical insight into what those rules really mean and how they might affect some of us. Now, this is not necessarily tax advice because he is not your accountant, but what he will do, I think, is to try to provide us with an improved understanding of some questions that we have, as well as those guardrails that are provided by the IRS on their website. And this is a hot topic for me, I will tell you that, and it might also be a hot topic for you guys. So I definitely want to encourage you guys to tune into next week's Comics Today show when my buddy Rodney joins us on the show. Another thing I wanted to remind you guys of, and this is just something that is like an ongoing thing. We do our Go Collect giveaway every single week. And in one of the videos or live streams that is conducted over the course of the week, the phrase is provided to you guys. I wanted to just remind everybody that commenting in the comment section on the video in which the phrase is given is not the way that you actually enter the contest. It is, however, a way to get disqualified if you are in the contest. So I definitely want to encourage people that might be new to the channel to take some time to watch the video that is here on the channel. It is, if you search on YouTube for Reggie Collects Go Collect Giveaway, there is a full video that explains all of the rules and requirements around the giveaway that we have been doing for 99 weeks in great detail. And there is also a link in the description of various videos to that video on the Go Collect giveaway. It is also linked on my Instagram. My hope is that we can have people follow the rules around the giveaway and to continue making it fun and enjoyable for everybody to actually participate. So I just wanted to kind of give that reminder, because as the channel continues to grow, we continue to have people that are new, that are trying to sort this thing out. And I think I need to constantly give the reminder of how to actually properly enter the contest so as to keep it fair for all people involved. And to that point of a reminder, this is the Go Collect giveaway for this week. It is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 4, 9.6 with white pages. This is where Cindy Moon becomes Silk. This is this week's Go Collect giveaway book. And so again, definitely stay tuned to all the videos that come out from the channel for your opportunity to actually win that book. Now, with that said, I am actually going to go to the chat here momentarily. And the way that we do our shout outs on the Comics Today show is we ask people, if you hit up the local comic shop, to let us know which books you actually picked up. and then to also let us know if you read a book or two, which books we might want to put on the top of our stacks. And I will go to the chat here momentarily and highlight a couple of individuals that are commenting. And again, I will tell you that I have a nice stack of books here that we are actually going to look at and talk about as well. So let me see. Scrolling through the comments here. Joe is like, let's be fair for everyone. Man, I'm telling some of us get more than our fair share, Joe. Some of us win multiple times, but I think, by and large, I mean, if you just think about the number of shows that we've done for Ready Set Go, we've given away at least 99 slabs, which is pretty cool, man. That's a pretty cool thing. So scrolling through some of the comments here. Again, joking about the phrase is also not the way. I'll just tell you that right now. Scrolling through some of the comments here, seeing what you guys are talking about. Scrolling. Jerry, how you doing, brother? Jerry says he grabbed Crossover, Venom, Star Wars, and Thor. He hasn't read any of them yet. My comic shop, I went by it today and they were actually talking about Crossover. I think that people are really enjoying that book. I haven't read it since the very first one. So scrolling through, Wesley, how you doing, brother? He says he scored the High Republic 1 in 10, so he's hyped about that. That's what's up. Rush says too many. I picked up way too many. I'm gonna tell you guys. So I packed up the Comics to Go boxes, and I wanted to do a photo for Instagram in my trunk as like a joke, right? As like a cool little post to put up. And then I have like 3 boxes in the car, and I get to the shop, and my guy comes up with this stack of books, and I'm like, what did I buy? And I'm very thankful that I actually had a bunch of Comics to Go boxes in the trunk, because I ended up filling them up. Well, 2 of them were full. One of them had had a couple of extra books in it. So I'm very thankful I actually packed the right way. What is this? Oh, I lost the comment. Where'd it go? There we go. L. Smith, how you doing, brother? He says, starting the year big. He went big. 31 comic books. ASM 56, Crossover 3, Dark Knights, Death Metal 7, covers A through D. He went big. Eternals 1, all of the King in Black tie-ins, Thor 11, Venom 32. Brother, you went big. You went big. I'm sure your local comic shop loves you. And then here's Joe. Joe's like, I got none. Joe's like, I didn't get anything. Brother, you don't ever have to run down your list. 2021. This dude has a lot of books, man. No doubt about that one. Good to see you in here though, brother. Scrolling through. Haven't been. Jerry, how you doing? He says, haven't been to the LCS for a few weeks, so I probably have a large stack. Brother, I'm gonna tell you, there is nothing like showing up to your LCS after you haven't been there for a while and them giving you that large stack and then you having to pay for that large stack. You forget. I was talking to somebody about this in the comment section. Like when you go every single week and you pay, $20, $30 here or there, right? It doesn't seem like a lot, but then when you go and you get that stack and it's like $20, $30 times how many ever weeks, it adds up. It's a little shocking sometimes, Christopher, how you doing? He says he picked up Future State Swamp Thing #1 and it was a good read. I will tell you, bro, I did not read that one. I do have it. I went big this week. I picked up the DC Future State. This is Swamp Thing, Future State Swamp Thing issue #1. I have not yet read it, but I will read it as I am working my way through all of the Future State books. I picked them all up and I am in the process of reading it. And again, I'll talk about that in just a couple of seconds. Juggernaut, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Doug says, I am picking up a few Future State books tomorrow. I got quite a few awesome back issues today. That's what's up. Scrolling through the comments here, seeing what else you guys are talking about. Daniel says he went to the local LCS and picked up some decent comics like Star Wars, High Republic, Death Metal, and a few others. And a shipment came in. All right, good stuff. So scrolling through. Wait, if you guys don't drop over 100 every week, I don't drop over 100 a week. I'll tell you that right now. Regie, how you doing? I don't spend that much. I spend, again, 20, 30 bucks, kind of sort of dependent upon the week. So Raymond, how you doing, brother? He says, love your channel. Glad to be catching you live. Give us a scan of that back wall one day. If you search on the YouTube machine for Regie Collects Room Tour, or if you search for Regie Collects Slab Sharing, or if you follow me on Instagram, there are ample photos and videos of the various books that are in my collection, my good man. So hopefully that helps you. And also, if you watch the haul videos and the unboxing videos, you get the theme here. Watch the videos. The content is there for you, my man. Scrolling through the comments here, seeing what else everybody is talking about. I'm thinking of getting comics delivered instead of going to his LCS just to control the finances. Yeah, don't do it. I don't know. I mean, if that works for you, I say go for it, right? I tended to, when I was doing mail order, spend a little bit more on books just because I wanted to make the shipping make sense. And so I tended to order a little bit more. And then I still missed the LCS visit. And I still ended up going to the LCS, and then I would end up buying some of the same books all over again. And in the end, I ended up spending more money. But that's me. That's me. Also, because it depends on how frequently you want to actually get your book sent to you. If you do it every month, that's a long time to wait for your books to actually come through. I don't know. I think there's other people in here that do mail orders. So I'm confident if you pay attention to the chat, some other folks will actually comment in here and be able to help you out just a little bit. Reyes says he's dropped a 130. Drop 130. Goodness. I've been in shop before where the guy in front of me dropped that kind of money. I just ask him, look, do you just want to buy mine too? Because you clearly are buying all the books. And I'm going to keep an eye on the chat here, but I will show you guys a couple of more books that I picked up. I snagged this one right here, The Flash. This one, I'll be honest with you, I am on the struggle bus. I am on the struggle bus with this one. And I'm going to try not to give you guys all the details in case you want to read this one. But this is Future State, The Flash, issue number 1. I want to get into The Flash. I want to read and enjoy The Flash. This one, I feel like there was some other stories that have happened that may have wrapped up, that this one starts from the end of the last one. Because I didn't read the last one, I'm like, what is going on? Why are there like 12 of you? What's going on with the Speed Force, et cetera, et cetera? Again, I'm not trying to give away all the entire book to people. This one I'm on the struggle bus with, and I want to like it. But struggle bus for The Flash. And there's a super chat that came in. I want to acknowledge that before it actually goes away. Let me see. Comic Book Emporium. Thank you, brother, for the super chat. He says, I only have 2 on my pull, Thor and Venom. Both of those are good books. He says the rest of my money is being saved for my back issue goals. Ooh, talk dirty. He is talking dirty. The rest of the money is being set aside for back issue goals of the year instead of spending too much money on new books. I respect having a goal. I really do respect it. So again, you have to do what makes sense for you, because unless you have all the money, you have to pick and choose where you spend it. And Comic Book Emporium clearly has a goal for himself for this year. And I'm confident that we are going to be seeing some awesome posts up on the Instagram machine as a result of that focus. Speaking of focus, I thought this was a pretty cool cover. This is DC Future State. This is Superman of the Metropolis, issue number 1. I was on the I'm kind of sort of on the struggle bus with this one. This one, and again, I've read a lot of these. This one has a couple of backup stories. It is a massive comic at $6.99. I think they did some kind of anthology stuff. So there's a couple of different stories in many of these. This one involved Jonathan, the new Superman, I guess the son of Clark Kent. And Kara, his aunt, I guess. I don't know the whole lineage. I think it's his aunt. It wasn't a bad story. I will tell you that. I kind of like the fact that Jonathan is making mistakes, right? Because one of the big things with Superman is he's kind of perfect, right? Jonathan's making mistakes. There was a character in here, I think it's called Brain Sale. I'm struggling with this character and like, what is his character's power and how is it affecting the Kryptonians and et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. I gave it a shot. I gave it a read, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I did pick it up. I thought it was a cool cover right there. So let me go back to the chat real quick. Brandon says, so far I spent 48, but I have to go back tomorrow. No, you don't. You don't have to go back. You are choosing to go back. Oh man. So scrolling through the comment, Jerry's like, nice looking cover. Yeah, there you go. Matt Woods, he's on here. Matt Woods, Blue Wrench, he says, I have my comics delivered. Love it. I go to the LCS to pick up back issues and maybe an issue that I missed putting on my pull. There you go. There you go. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Matt says, I have two budgets, one budget for new books and one budget for back issue goals. That's what's up. There you go. And again, everybody has to find something that actually works for them. And if it works, then it definitely works. Jerry's like, I'll buy the Batman Future State, but that's it. That's what he says. I'm gonna tell you, I bought that one too. Bought it too. I bought it. I liked it so much. I bought two copies. I think this might be the A cover. You guys tell me. And again, in a lot of these, they were like anthologies. So there was like all kinds of backup stories. I honestly did not read all the backup stories. I kind of flipped through those. But I read the Batman. This, I think, is the A cover. And then here is, and this is all next Batman. Here is the second cover. I read these and I kind of liked them. I kind of like what I was reading. The dialogue I think was somewhat fun, somewhat playful with the mom, the little banter, the fighting with the brother. And again, don't want to completely give it away. The fighting with the brother, I didn't quite care for that because I don't know what's behind it. And the feeling was that there was some kind of long-standing feud that I don't fully appreciate because I'm like, this is book one, start me from scratch, right? Because I don't have that history of knowing why they're feuding. It to me was like, okay, so you guys are fighting. Okay, got it. But generally speaking, I kind of dug this issue. I kind of dig how it's set into the future and how the peacekeepers are keeping order and some of the other things. And again, I'm not trying to give it away to everybody, but I enjoyed this one. So I picked up two copies of it. And then I'm also going to snag two copies of snag two copies of issue number 2 because I think that he is actually on the cover of that one. So I ordered that one long ago. Scrolling through, I think there was a comment here from 2021 about, here it is. He says, buy Future State Justice League when it comes out. Yeah, you don't want to miss that one. And I think that there's a ton of first appearances in that one. And I think that's why he's making the recommendation. The question is, 2021, how many did you buy? How many did you pre-order, bro? Let's see whether he discloses that number. I'm gonna scroll down to the bottom here real quick and see whether he discloses. There's a question here whether I bought the High Republic. I did not. I didn't buy. I'm not a Star Wars fan per se, right? I love The Mandalorian. I have a lot of back issues through the 100K collection of the Star Wars stuff, but I'm not buying any of the new stuff. It's not my gig. It's not my gig. And to the point that several other people have kind of made, there is that balance between, the new stuff and the old stuff. And you guys, I think from the back wall, I prefer the old stuff, but I enjoy the new stuff. But there's that balance of what makes sense. 2021 still has not disclosed. All right. So I thought he was going to throw it up there. So I was waiting to see whether that actually came out. Somebody just asked about Harley Quinn. Bought that one too. Bought that one too. I literally reached out to my guy and I was like, I'll take every single DC Future State that is coming out. I'm going to take every single one of them. And then I've been taking the time to actually read through them because again, if you think about it, I've been talking about DC Future State since what? November, maybe October. We've been talking about this off and on. We've had Joe on the show a couple of times kind of talking about it. I wanted to actually read it and I wanted to see what it was all about. And I will tell you in a couple of minutes, well, I'm kind of giving it my general thoughts as we go. I was on the struggle bus, kind of sort of on the struggle bus with another, and then the next Batman, I enjoyed that. So here is the Harley Quinn. This is Harley Quinn issue number 1, Future State. I have not yet read this one. I think that cover is definitely a fun cover. I watched the Harley Quinn movie just the other day, so I'm actually going to read this one and see what this one is all about. Again, I'm actually pleased for the $4.99 price, with some of those others being $6.99. I'm very appreciative for like a cheap book, you know? So scrolling through, Jerry says, I've been reading a bunch of the Star Wars canon books recently. That's what's up. Those are good books, man. I've read some of those recently myself, to be honest with you. Here is another book that I picked up. This is Wonder Woman issue number 1, Yara Flora. And I picked this one up, and I'm going to be honest with you. I have wanted to get into Wonder Woman for quite some time, and I struggle reading Wonder Woman comics, the older stuff, the George Perez stuff from, from the 80s or whatever. I struggle with it. And I read this. I thought this was fun. This Yara Flores, in addition to being beautifully drawn in the comic, I thought the story was fun. It was playful. It was lighthearted, kind of like the Jonathan Superman book. It shows the imperfections of the character, and it even said she's imperfect. It kind of cited why and showed her making mistakes. I can get on board with that. I can get on board with flawed characters that are trying to do the best that they can. And she's feisty, man. She really is like a feisty, sassy woman. And I'm on board with this. And again, she's not being called Wonder Girl. She's actually Wonder Woman. This is Wonder Woman. So it's kind of interesting. I think the show might be Wonder Girl, because we actually talked about that as well. So let me scroll. There we go. Definitely is a cool cover, man. I love the future state concept. More diversity is always great for the hobby. And I'll tell you, Raymond, what was crazy, and I can't remember which one it was. It might have been the Batman book. What was crazy is that even, what is his name? Scott Free, Miracle Man. Miracle Man's black. I was like, wait a minute, why is Miracle Man looking that way? And then I kept reading and flipped a few more pages. I was like, oh my goodness, Miracle. So there is definitely a diversity play here. Just in terms of like the ages of the characters, the genders of the characters, the ethnicities of the characters. I think all of that stuff is perfectly fine. My whole thing is make them good characters, make them interesting characters, and not just a shade this or that, or a gender change this or that. Make them interesting. And I would say so far, the Yara Flora character, interesting. The next Batman character, pretty interesting. I am kind of digging some of what I'm seeing right now. So Wonder Girl, now Wonder Woman, in the future. There we go. There we go. Let me see. You guys are going back and forth about the Star Wars. So much better than Wonder Woman 1984. Wonder Woman 1984 was okay. Yeah, I think we're going to get to that. I actually showed some independence before, but we are going to get to it. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm on a DC theme, as you can probably tell at this very moment, but bear with me, brother. The other book that I picked up, man, was this one right here. This is Death Metal, issue number 7. Shout out to, I think it was Pretty Fly for a Filipino guy. He reminded me, I do believe that this is the cameo appearance of Wonder Woman. So I reached out to my shop, and my guy told me, he was like, I don't know if I have it. And if I have it, I might only have one. He hooks me up with 2 covers of Death Metal issue number 7. So I'm definitely appreciative of that. I tried to get into the Death Metal series before. I bought a couple of copies. I struggled with it, but I kind of felt like I was going to enjoy the Yara Flora character, which is why I ended up picking up those. So fingers crossed that when I try to read this, that it'll at least help me and be good. So let me see. Everybody getting the cameo. Scrolling through, Wes says Death Metal was dope. I struggle with it. And I struggle with it again, not because I thought that it was bad. It was because I felt like, again, I needed to better understand the DC universe. I needed to understand all of these backstories in order to get on board with Death Metal. And because I haven't been reading a lot of DC, I was struggling with it, you know, and that's part of the reason why, if you think about it, the Wonder Woman book, the next Batman book, those in many respects start from square one. To some degree or another, the Superman of Metropolis also starts from square one. Whereas like the Flash, it starts, to me, at the end of another story. So it's not a great place for a new person to be able to get on board, even though they were like in the first couple of pages identifying all the characters. It's one of those old school Stan Lee things where every character's name is mentioned in the first part of the story, so you know at least who they are. I felt like they were trying to get people on board, but the Wonder Woman and the Batman, I think that they did a better job of saying, hello, welcome, new comic book reader or new person to Batman or Wonder Woman. So scrolling through, there's a comment from Matt Woods. I'm gonna just throw it up there so he can see, so folks can see that. I enjoy Death Metal, says L. Smith. There you really, you really needed to read. There you go. And I didn't. I tried to roll into the first issue and be like, yep, I'm in it. And Death Metal was like, nay, you are not coming in here. So somebody asked about indies a few moments ago. I picked up this one from AWA. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan of like the Resistance from AWA. This book dropped. I think Joe gave me a heads up on this one. It was already on the list, but he gave me a heads up on this one. This is the Resistance Reborns, and this is J. Michael Straczynski. I'm actually looking forward to reading this one from AWA. I have not read this, but I'm looking forward to it because I dig what AWA is doing. Let me see if I have any other indies in here. I do. Well, kind of, sort of. So while we're on the topic of the Resistance, my local comic shop hooked me up. My man knew I was looking for these a couple of weeks ago, and unfortunately I bought some online, but he also hooked me up today. He gave me a huge stack of the free comic book day, and this book is hot. You guys will remember because this is actually the first appearance of the erratic character, a character that is in my mind very much reminiscent of a young Peter Parker, young Spider-Man. So I kind of dig that. He hooked me up big time with those copies. They are clean. They are clean. So I'm very, very pleased about that. So I'll show you guys a couple of more books. Let me go to the chat real quick, make sure I'm good. Reggie, are you into the omnibus game to catch up or prefer? I don't do omnibus. I don't do collected works. I don't do any of that stuff. I read floppies. That's pretty much it. And I read them either hard copy or I read them digital. I do not do omnibus. I don't, that's just not my thing. And a lot of people enjoy those. A lot of people like having it all together and kind of reading it all together. It's just, I don't do any of that stuff. So I'm old school with mine, even though I read on an iPad, right? This is Hellions issue number 8. I've been reading this since issue number 1. Wild Child is just a wild guy. I enjoyed this series, so I'm still reading that one. I have not yet read that one, but I do enjoy it. I also picked up Venom issue number 32, so I'm looking forward to reading this. Definitely a tie-in to The King in Black, which is a story that I am enjoying. I think I already know what happens in this one based upon some other stuff that I've read, but I'm still going to read it nevertheless. And then last but not least is this book right here. Amazing Spider-Man issue number 56. I just read this. And you guys know that I am not a fan of Dick Spencer. You guys know that. I don't know the man. I have nothing truly against him. I just don't enjoy his writing. I read issue 55 of Amazing Spider-Man. I enjoyed it. I think I might read it again. And I might actually backpedal and read a couple of the issues that came before it because I enjoy issue 55. I read issue 56. I enjoyed issue 56. Maybe it has taken him 50 issues to find his stride. But I think it was Young Matthew. Young Matthew a couple of weeks ago said, it's getting better. He said this to me, said it's getting better. And I was like, yeah, okay, well, we'll see after I read it. I read it and I was like, okay, this might actually turn the corner. 55 again, I thought was pretty solid. 56 was solid. There wasn't a whole lot of action, but it felt like good, well-written dialogue, you know? And so I enjoyed it. Let me see. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Death Metal is a bit too campy. Who's a Chef? How you doing, Chef? It's good to see you, my friend. Scrolling through the last scenes in Death Metal 7 were awesome, though. So cool. And I'm looking forward to reading it. There you go. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Got Juggernaut issue number 5. I think that's the end of that, right? Kimball, I think Juggernaut issue number 5, is that the last issue? Is it 5 or 6? I felt like it's probably, I think 5. I think he was on board for 5, basically solo stories that had little threads that kind of tied some of them together. I've enjoyed that series, I will tell you. Ultraman issue number 5, haven't read a single one, probably need to. Paul says he loves the Kindred. I want to love the Kindred, brother. I think Nick Spencer stretched the Kindred out so much because his cameo appearance was what? Amazing Spider-Man issue number 1 from 2018. And we just found out who he was. I felt like it was dribs and drabs, man. Like, just give it to me. Just say. Let me see. Young Matthew says he is really digging ASM right now. Yeah, right now. Again, I've read 55 and 56. I agree with that. I want to read 54, and if 54 checks out, I'll read 53. That's just how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to read in reverse now at this point. I probably need to read those LRs because the .LR, I picked up all of those. So I probably need to read those as well. Scrolling through some of the comments here. No, I didn't have Thor 11 in here. I don't know why. I was missing Thor 11 from this stack. And then I was also missing from this stack, from this shop, ASM 55. So there's a chance that there was some other stuff that was in my box that they did not pull out. Because what happened is I called them up. I was like, hey, I'm on my way. Pull these books for me. Give me a total. I'll be out front. And that's basically what we did. And so I have a feeling that I am missing some books because those should have been here. So scrolling through, let's not go that far. I'm kind of sort of on board with ASM. Let's see if we can get more than 5 issues in a row that are pretty good. I'm hopeful. Maybe we have turned the corner. Maybe 2020 is behind us and 2021 is the return of some fantastic ASM. Fingers crossed, people. Fantastic. What is this? A question. I tell you, I get this question almost every single week. What is there is it is comic mount or collector mount. I think if you go to my website, regiecollects.com, you go to the partners page down in, I want to say, the right hand bottom corner or the top corner. I can never remember. It's on the website. On the partner page, there is a link and a discount code that is there. It is called Collector Mount. I use them on the back wall and the front wall. And yeah, there's also videos to show how to use it on the channel. And I can point you to those if you reach out to me. So Joe is poo-pooing 55. He says, I wasn't a fan of 55. Spencer doesn't understand Peter Parker, which is a big problem with his writing. I would agree. I, on the other hand, did enjoy 55. But yeah, I don't know that maybe he understands Peter Parker, but maybe he wants to take him in a different direction. I don't know. I really don't know. There's something not quite right up until this point. But again, for me, 55, 56 weren't bad reads. Or maybe I've been so deadened over the last 50 some odd issues and I'm like, oh, there's a ray of hope that is coming for Peter. Scrolling through, Dan's like, yep, I thought, oh my goodness, the cover for 55 is just fantastic. I don't honestly know who did that cover, but that cover is striking. And when I saw it online, I was like, oh yeah, it's okay. Then I saw it in person. I was like, this is dope. I need to get some extra copies of this. And by that point, it was like sold out everywhere. It really was. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Me too, brother. And he said that he wants to do ASM. We'll see whether he actually does it. We'll see whether it actually, there we go. Let's get the petition going. Sorry, late checking in today's future state. I can admit I was completely wrong to be worried. Daniel, you did come in late, brother, because we literally went through all of the DC future states books that came out. On the top of the pile for me, the Wonder Woman, I thoroughly enjoyed the Wonder Woman. Sassy woman, definitely powerful, flawed, which I'm actually quite okay with. Enjoyed that. The next Batman, I want to see more of the Batman. Like, you know, I would like to see more of the Batman kind of doing his thing, like being a person in addition to being in the Batman suit and fighting crime. But I enjoyed the next Batman. Some of the others, like the Flash, I struggled with just a little bit, and I still need to read a couple of the others. But again, DC Future State, man. And what I'll tell you is that, to me, I don't know about you guys, but when I read DC Future State, I am not reading it from a company that seems to be ready to go out of business. When I read it like a company that is trying to introduce some really new and interesting characters to invigorate its future. And there are people that look at the DC Future State as basically DC signaling to people that they are about to shut down, that they are about to go out of business, that they will no longer be printing comics come June. And my feeling is that come May, when solicitations come out and DC isn't shutting down, those same people will start to say, yep, by the end of the year, we are going to see DC going out of business. They're going to continue kicking the can while racking up all kinds of views and clicks everywhere by spreading falsehoods about the company. And if I'm wrong about DC, if DC does go out of business, then I will definitely come back on here and apologize. Oh, there's a Virgin. I had ordered the Virgin ASM 55 from the artist website, and it's supposed to be, there's a Virgin. Why did I not know that? Why did I not know that? I need to go do some research. Oh man, Almighty Liger King looking super dope. If you guys didn't see him on the Instagram machine decked out in his Giving Gang hoodie, my man was killing it. He was killing it. A shout out to everybody that picked up one of the hoodies. The hoodies have sold incredibly well. I literally have one hoodie left. It is a 3XL. So I'm waiting for that one guy or gal to come along and close it out. But the hoodies were, I think, well received. I think people enjoyed them. So shout out to everybody that picked them up. So scrolling through, I don't think Kate's will do ASM. It's always a big seller anyway. Marvel must use Kate to bring up other titles. Maybe because he was already kind of he started Thor, so he didn't bring that up. He also started Venom, right? So he didn't bring that up. So off the top of my head, I cannot think of another series in which he actually did save a underperforming comic and returned it, right? I in my head, he's just always been given the keys to his own kingdom and has done really well with it. So I don't know. I'm hard pressed to come up with a ready example, but maybe Matthew or Matt, you will be able to throw one up there, because I honestly can't think of one. Not saying that you're wrong. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm hard pressed on the fly to come up with an example of that. So if you have one, definitely throw it up and I'll try to check it up. Scrolling through, thinking if I should get, man, the thing about it with 55, bro, I'm gonna be completely honest. The only way I would get 55 slabbed is if I can get a 9.8. That's the only way I would do it, to be honest with you. It is a gorgeous cover. I think it would look incredible in the slab. With modern books, in my mind, if the book just came out, it has to be a 9.8. That is my personal prerogative. And that's, I would do it in that case. Like, I would like to get one of these Resistance books slabbed, but it would only be if I can get a 9.8. That's the only way that I would do it. But I can tell you that ASM 55 is going to look nice on the wall. Now, the question is that book going to appreciate in value? I don't know. I really don't know. It's a gorgeous cover. If it's a 9.8, a lot will depend upon how many other 9.8s are out there, but there will be people that will simply buy that book for the cover. But how much of an appreciation can you get? It will be tough. It will be tough to know. Scrolling through, Doug says the ASM 55 cover will be copied for years to come. That book. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And the question is, why did no one ever think of that before? You know, it's just, think about all the covers of all the comics that are created by all of these creative creators and artists, and no one came up with that before. You know, we've seen a black cover with ASM before. What is it? ASM 36, the all black cover, which is the tribute to the World Trade, not the World Trade Center, 9/11. Gorgeous cover, all black, and this seems like a great fit with that one. You know what I'm saying? Scrolling up through the comments because I was like way down. See, you guys are talking about this thing. None of you guys told me about it. None of you people told me about the version. Oh man, let me see. I'm scrolling through the comments here, making sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, let me drop back down to the bottom. What is this? Almighty Liar King. Are you talking about 55? Because there will probably be second and third prints of that one, no doubt. That's why the ASM 55 cover is brilliant. There you go. Scrolling through the comments here. I have 5. This dude's bragging over here. He says I have 5 ASM 55s. Maybe one is a 9.8. Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go. I have a feeling black cover is just, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And my general feeling is that is going to be a pretty tough book to find in a 9.8. So if anybody has any inclination to get it, now is the time to get. Like, if you don't get it now, I think it's going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough. So you better call around, drive around, see if you can track some down. So I don't know if you guys can hear that. Definitely have my apologies. We had some maintenance people in front of the house a short while ago from the city that basically turned off our water. And I think the water is now flowing again very loudly. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Yep. Okay, cool. Give me one hot sec, please. Give me one hot sec. All right, had to send a message to the wife there. All right, so I want to run back through here real quick. As you guys can tell, tonight's show was really just a little bit about the new comics that came out today. It was really around all of the great stuff that came out from DC Future State. And one of the things that I was hoping to do was to actually have some people come on to the show to spend some time talking with me about the DC Future State comics that had dropped. The challenge was a lot of comic shops across the country have had issues with getting their shipment of DC books, which made it a little tough for me to actually have people come on the show that had the time to get their books because they were available, to read them, and then to come on the show to be able to talk about it and to be confident in doing that. So it was a little bit of a challenge, but that definitely was the goal. So what is this? Reggie, do you have certain prerequisites that you have when considering slamming a comic besides a 9.8 grade? Yeah, there's a lot of prerequisites. And what I would say is there's a playlist on the channel here called Submitting to CGC. And inside of that playlist, there is a video in there, like I think it's called like Things to Consider When Submitting to CGC, that actually goes through some of the logic associated with how I submit books to CGC. And part of it is that, you know, you can always submit books into CGC that have nostalgic meaning to you or have some kind of importance to you, right? And then the other way to do it, right, is honestly you submit books based upon the dollars and cents of that book, right? And so you have to kind of decide, you know, is there enough value in this book to warrant the cost associated with getting that book slabbed, right? So those are some of the decisions that people kind of have to make. And I'm actually trying to pull it up right now. So the video, let me see if I can share my screen with you guys real quick, because this may actually help folks real quick. Let me see if I can pull it up and share my screen. So there is a playlist on the channel called Submitting Comics to CGC. And the video right here is Want to Submit to CGC, CBCS, or PGX. This is the video in which I kind of walk through some of the logic, if you will, of a submission. And Thanos is the thumbnail. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but this is definitely an old video. As you guys can see, it's been viewed almost a little over 15,000 times. But this is the video, and you can see right here, the very first video, this one with the Thanos, is the one that you want to check out. Let me make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, I think you can see that pretty well. but it's the one that is now hidden. It is the one that is now hidden. So anyway, but yeah, if you search, there's a lot of good content on the channel that will help you walk through some of that stuff. And then if you reach out to me with questions, Christopher, on Instagram, I can help send you to the right video so that you're able to find it. We can have a little bit more of a back and forth as to what some of my criteria are, but it's head or heart. You do it because you absolutely love the book and you don't care about the value. The other part is you want to look at what is this book actually worth versus what is the cost of getting it done. And so often for me, new books don't really meet that that head criteria, right? New books, in many ways, I buy them for the enjoyment of them, right? To buy them to support the publishers. I buy them to read and to have entertainment. I buy them to do videos and things like that, not necessarily because of the dollars and cents associated with those books, right? So hopefully that helps. And again, if you want to talk more about it, just reach out to me, brother, and we can definitely have a little bit of a back and forth. So making sure, no. We are going to be inclusive. We are going to be inclusive. There are a lot of people and I think you're joking. There are a lot of people that like PGX. But I have never bought a PGX book. I have held a PGX book once. Someone gave a book to the channel for me to give away. And that was, I think, the very first PGX book I had ever held. But I've never submitted to PGX. But there are people that love PGX. And it's like, if it works for you, then it works, right? I've never submitted to CBCS. I have zero experience really with CBCS's submission process. I have reviewed their cases. I dig their cases. I bought their cases and their books, but I've never submitted to CBCS. CGC is the company that I've gone with because I made a decision early on when I sat down and I thought about what am I looking for in a third-party grader? And I made my list. I landed on CGC and I have not deviated from that. Not to say that they're the best, not to say that they're perfect. They work for me, and at the end of the day, if it works, it works. Chris Bigger, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you, my friend. It is definitely good to see you. Currently focusing on Miles Morales collection and Scott Lang Ant-Man appearances, both in 9.8. Been a focus for a few years now. Mass, that is what's up, And again, it doesn't matter what you choose to focus on. If it makes sense to you, I say rock on. What's funny, Matt Woods, is I remembered that it was you, and I wasn't gonna say it because I was like, I don't know if he's gonna, feel a certain way. But yeah, Matt Woods hooked us up, man. He as part of, I think it was like a giveaway or something. I can't remember all the details, but I can picture the ASM 110 PGX slab under my desk. I can picture it because it was sitting there with some other books. And I was like, I cannot forget to give these books away and have to remember who gave me this book. So I can picture it. And so I distinctly remember that book. I think it was like bubble wrap pretty well as well. So shout out to you, my brother, for hooking me up with that one. I've never met anyone. Maybe you have, and they've been too shy to tell you that they've used PGX. What is this? Big Will's in the house. He says, I saw ASM 55 in previews, but forgot. Oh, again, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't feel like the photos for ASM 55 really did the book justice, right? There are some books, in my opinion, that they take on a whole different meaning when you actually hold them and you get to look at them. They take on a little bit of a different life. And I felt like ASM 55 in my mind was that book. So I try to be because again, one of the things that I try to do, and I was going back and forth with someone about this earlier today. I try to be very careful about how I answer questions for people. And I try to be careful because I don't want people to hear me say that there is a right way and a wrong way, and the right way is my way, right? That's just not the way that it is. My way is my way. It's mine because I found that that works for me, or because I haven't found something better. It doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean that your way, which might be different, is wrong. And so I'm always very careful about how I answer questions, because I don't want people to walk away thinking, well, he said left, I want to go right, so right must be wrong. No, it's not. It's not, but it's like, and then I have to balance that thing of, well, people are asking me my opinion because they want to hear my opinion. So I'm trying to always balance that. I don't want to push you in a direction, but I also want to share with you my opinions and my thoughts because you're asking for them. So there's always that balance with me, scrolling through. The new slab company looks interesting for display purposes, more so than resale. I have no clue. Are you talking about EGS? Are you talking about EGS? They've been around for what? I think going on 2 years now. I think they're going on like 2 years right now. Berg family, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you, my friend. What's going on with Boom Studios is new Kickstarter that they're doing, Morphin Time or something like that, 55 issues or something like that they're putting together. I scanned the article real quick from Harvey. Harvey Abel sent it to me as I was driving down the street. Yes, I know I'm not supposed to read and drive, but I do it. There you go. Well said right there. Monique well said. ASM 55 looks more intricate when you have it in hand. When you first look at it in the photos, it doesn't look like anything special. Then you see it and you're like, oh, that's actually cool. I wish I had 5 copies. Like was that Sidian? I can't remember who it was. I wish you had like 5 copies now. Scrolling through some of the comments here, seeing what else you guys are talking about. Scrolling through the comments. There you go. And that's the thing, man, is I never want people to walk away from a conversation with me feeling like, that what they're doing is wrong, when it's not wrong. It's just different from how I do it. So I want to show some of these DC books one more time, and then we're probably going to wrap this thing up. Oh yeah, let me do a couple more things. So I want to give a shout out to, Kevin. Kevin hooked it up. Oh, no, can't show that yet. Never mind. Strike all of that. So I had a chance to read this book. This is the new Wonder Woman from DC Future State. I read it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I picked up a couple of copies of the next Batman as well from the comic shop. And I also read this one and enjoyed it. I did not read all of those backstories. So I don't know whether I'm going to get to those. I've never really been a huge fan of backstories, right? I'm like super consistent. I've always been that way. I don't read the tie-ins. I don't read the backstories. I don't read omnibus. I have a thing that works, and I kind of sort of stick with it until I have a really good reason to actually change it, or somebody changes my mind. So those were 2 books that I read that I thoroughly enjoyed. Kind of sort of enjoyed the Superman of Metropolis. Kind of sort of. We'll see what happens with the next issue. I have not yet read the Swamp Thing book and the Harley Quinn book. This is a really cool cover. I dig that. So I'm actually looking forward to reading those and seeing what those stories are about. The one that I read that I didn't enjoy was this one right here. And I did not enjoy it because I felt like there was a whole backstory that I wasn't privy to that put me in a situation where I did not fully understand or appreciate this book. So that's more of a new reader getting on board. And so there was a bunch of other Marvel books, some AWA books that we're not going to talk about right now. So you'll have to watch the rewind if you want to get that. But I do want to give people a reminder that this is this week's Go Collect giveaway book. It is a really cool copy of Amazing Spider-Man issue number 4. And this is where Cindy Moon becomes Silk. So really cool book. So definitely stay tuned to all the videos that are coming out from the channel for the phrase that you actually need to be able to enter that. And I'll give another reminder for next week's show. I am in the process of trying to get one of my buddies for the last 20 years, a fraternity brother and a friend, on the show. He is a CPA, and we're going to spend some time talking about the hobby and taxes. And a lot of us are selling and buying books and other things. And the IRS has put out some guidance, which I personally think is a little cryptic as it relates to when does a hobby become a business. And so I want to bring my buddy on who is a CPA to help us to better understand some of the tax implications that are associated with buying and selling in a hobby, and when it slips over the edge of becoming a business and, you know, has all of these other requirements that go along with it. So I'm hopeful that he'll be able to come on here and shed some light on that. So I definitely want to encourage you guys to actually stay tuned and check out that show. All right. Uh-oh, my man's here. Dave, the other part of the Bratton clan. So if you guys haven't seen this, if you are on Instagram or if you are on YouTube, well, probably Instagram because that's easier for me. I want to encourage you guys to make sure you click on the link in my bio. There is a hilarious Mandalorian Regie Collects related skit created by my man right here, Dave, that I want you guys to check out. Dave, if you could, bro, post in the comment section your YouTube link so that people can see that as well. Go check this stuff out. He does these hilarious skits with superhero toys and voices. I don't know if the whole family's involved in this or if he is just a master at changing his voice. I think these things are hilarious. They are well edited and just a lot of fun. So if you guys get a chance, please be sure to check him out. Give him a follow. Taxes, brother. I don't. A friend of mine sent me a message today and she said some political stuff and she said they're about to raise our taxes. All right. So again, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me here just a little bit for Comics Today. Shout out to all of the local comic shops that are out there that are still making some magic happen. I feel you all's pain when it comes to all of the challenges that these comic shops are facing with shipping issues related to Lunar and also with Diamond, to be honest with you. But I'm thankful I was able to get by at least one of my shops this week to be able to support. And as we wrap up here, I want to give you guys a quick reminder of something that was just released a few days ago from my channel. Here's a little commercial. So that is my Comics to Go box. If you guys are interested in picking that up, you can hit Regie Collects. Shout out to every single person that has placed an order. All of your orders have been sent out, and fingers crossed that you guys will receive those before the end of the week. Fingers crossed that most of you will get them by the end of the week, but I absolutely appreciate your support. Shout out to my man, Comic Tom 101, who swooped in and bought a huge case of them as well to be able to give them away on his channel. I am very appreciative of all of the love that you guys have shown me for my various initiatives. If there is anything you guys need, don't hesitate to reach out to me on Instagram at Regie Collects, or you can send me an email to reggie@regiecollects.com. Take care.